Hey guys, welcome back. It's Grim Reaper coming at you for another video for Raidshadowlegends. Today we're going to do a showcase on an epic who is a solo machine in Raidshadowlegends in P vs E content. So we're going to get into it and I'm going to explain the builds and etc. after this. Bear in mind it's epic and solo, Dragon on normal, Ice Golem 24 on normal, Sun Devil 7 and 15 and the Scarab King. So, and also Minotaur. So this epic is pretty OP, and he has, boy has he got some stats. We also have a duo with him with Mephala Lifebane on Dragon 10 on hard as well, so there's also some hard there as well. So let's get into it. Let me show you the stats and let's show you what's going on with this champion. Okay, so there's the dragon run. I think it's a pretty nice run for solo. There was many reasons why you might want to solo your dungeons, mainly for fusion sake, especially if you've got a champion training and then a dragon tour at the same time. It kind of makes sense to put your energy together and try and get double rewards, same amount of energy. So for me, that makes sense to kind of do. I do this quite a lot in fusions, and this is how I save energy. I suppose this is like a good way of prepping for fusion, especially with the one coming up on Monday, who is going to be god tier legendary for a lot of things and for a lot of people, including myself. So he's definitely someone that I'm going to want on my account. Anyway, going back to Venomage, this is the generally what is well. Mephalla's in here to add a bit more protection. Venomage won't be able to solo this, but no one can solo hard dungeons at the moment. So Mephala just brings in extra poison, she brings in a cleanse, brings in increased defense, brings a shield and a strengthen, which generally does help a lot. Anyway, this is generally a full reset. There is no AIs or anything like that. You could play with the AIs to make it a bit faster on a boss by locking out the A2 or something on Mephala and just making her do the A1 way more. So there's definitely a big improvement here. Anyway, let's get into the next one. This is going to be Ice Golem 24. So yeah, let's get into it and then we'll talk about that. So as you can see here, Venomage just is full auto, no problem. Very solid comp. It's a bit slow, but you know, most people don't farm Ice Gun on a regular basis. And again, if you farm this overnight and you're doing a fusion, this is generally achievable stats, I believe. You could also lower the stats by quite much. I have a lot of stats because we're doing Dragon 10, so just bear that in mind, that the stats that I have, you can definitely reduce this, so you don't need a blessing to do this. I do get 50 extra resistance for that blessing. You generally could look around the stats, and I'll come back to the stats and talk about stats when I'm showing you build and masteries, and where we can make it a bit more friendly to gear. But it's generally a solid epic. It can do Ice Golem 24, so that is a good job, and that's a GG there. Ice Golem hard can be difficult, but if you have the legendary and you have decent gear, fair enough. But for fusions, you might want to think about soloing, especially if you're champion training and you're a little bit limited for energy. I generally enjoyed this video and generally making the video on Venomage. Anyway, let's get into the next one. Next one will be Scarab King, level 50 and hard. He does work there. It's one change in his build, and I will show you that when we get into his build. Okay, so here we go. We have generally a very good team. This did Scarab 10 on 50. There's no reason why this doesn't work on 100 as well. You do need a blood shield accessory, which I'll show you shortly. And that's the only change out of this build on all these runs that we've done today. I will do a Minotaur run after this, but I'm not really going to do an intro or breakdown on that. I don't see a point, if I'm honest, because it's just Minotaur. So as you can see, what's the roles here of these champions? So Trunda and Igni and Ethos are in here just to clear waves. That's their role. We've got Zagala in here. We don't get in spirit exploits, so there's no point training, but it does help us with spirit mastery. And again, I will go into this when I'm showing you masteries and the builds. And if I'm honest, he's just in here because he puts poisons from passive, which just puts a bit of extra damage. This is generally the same kind of format I run on my normal team and my normal solo team with Yugos here. So yeah, generally I just swapped it out. No presets, nothing like that. Very simple and easy auto. It's a 10-minute run, which is a bit of a ball ache if I'm honest, but if you don't have Euphros, so you don't have a law, this is generally a good way to make it work. You might need a little bit of extra resistance because we saw we did get a little bit of bit buffs on us throughout that run. So yeah, anyway, let's get into the next one. Let's show you the build and stuff like that. So here we are. This is Venamage's build, right? This is what we want to see. So Venomage is in regen. That is more important to point out. We have a resistance banner, so you can remove resistance or accuracy. Let me just move myself out of here, just so you can see what's going on. Let's go to here a little here. Yeah. So as you can see, resistance or accuracy banner would be fairly fine. We have a HP with accuracy and resistance on, which is what we're looking for. A HP ring with HP or defense. And then again, we've got speed boots with accuracy and resistance. We have speed and HP chest with some resistance. And then we have defense accentuated with HP substat with speed and resistance again. And then we've got the accuracy, speed and HP, and then again speed and resistance. Now for Dragon 10 hard, you do need around about 260 speed. So for Dragon 10, you'll need a lot of speed generally, and you'll need high level resistance for Dragon 10. So I would try and get towards 400 resistance. Now accuracy you can afford to slack on a little bit, because if you're running Mephala, she'll bring you 80 accuracy aura, and also in other builds like we did with the Ice Golem, Minotaur and all that lot, he gives us himself extra 45 accuracy as well. So he generally can be built with low accuracy, so it's higher. It's better to find the HP, the defense, the speed, the resistance. It's a little bit gear intensive, but this is an end game build, so it's going to be gear intensive, and anything that you do end game can be quite intense, right? That's why your gear is meant to get better. So yeah, fairly quite good. So again, love an accuracy aura. To be honest, I don't know what's the blessing that's best for him, if I'm honest. He doesn't have War Master, so I didn't think about Phantom Touch or Cruelty would be any good, if I'm honest. So I just picked a mastery that would give us the benefit stats that we needed. And right now Iron Will gives us all the stats that we need. So it gives us the more resistance, it gives us more HP, it gives us more defense, and it gives us more speed. We're obviously going to take advantage of that buff recently in there. So what does it do? It decreases the damage this champion receives from an enemy skills active by other skills, or when enemies inflict damage when it is not their turn. So like I suppose counter attack or whatever. But yeah, I mainly took this just because of stats, and it kind of made sense too. So let's get into the masteries, and the masteries are a bit more harder to explain, right? So this is where you need to kind of really pay attention and kind of see where my head is going with these masteries. So we're going to start at the top. We've got extra HP because you got fairly low HP. You can take the accuracy if you will, if you will. I generally wanted the layers on has, which will give us the heal. We have rejection, which will give us like the healing as well, and again healing when he kills, because he does solo on sauna waves like Ice Golem and stuff like that. So every time he kills them, he will get some healing from that. Delay death is fairly good mastery, and retribution just to get extra ability moves in. The main thing to make from this is spirit haste, right? So when your champions die, the food that dies, you generally will get more speed. So it's Scarab and stuff like that, we can run lower speeds. You can go down to like 240, 230, and you'll generally be fine if you've got this mastery running. So yeah, just bear that in mind. So yeah, you could possibly run Eagle Eye or Resistor, sorry, Unshakable as a tier 6 if you're struggling on his stats, because they're generally more impressive and harder to get. Make sure you take Law Still, that helps. Cycle of Violence helps get a cooldown on the poisons, which is where you want. And then I went through Oppressor, so it's a bit of an odd mastery to go for, but it generally works quite well. And I didn't need any more accuracy or resistance in my build, so it did make sense to go for the other masteries. So this increases the turn meter field by 2.5 for each active debuff cast by his champion. He puts out a load of buffs, so it's quite easy to get to that 10% quite quickly. So yeah, that kind of makes sense to do all that. So I do want to point out, when we were doing Scarab, it's important to put Blood Shield on. So I just put this Blood Shield ring on, which was generally the same kind of ring with stats and stuff like that. So for me, this made sense to kind of do, and this is how I made it work in Scarab. So just bear that in mind. So yeah, there it is really. I just want to show you a proof quickly, because I'm not done the recording on Sand Devil because it would make the video too long. But this is the team for Sand Devil, right? We got 12 minutes and 45. We can train food at the same time, and this works on Sand Devil level 15. So that's generally quite good, and it was around about 5 minutes on Sand Devil 7, which is again weak affinity. So we can solo that as well. So there's your proof that he can do that. If you don't have a ninja, if you don't have any champions that can get you on the platform of Sand Devil, Venomage can do that job as well. So if you're short on gear, if you don't have the gear like I do or anything like that, generally can add some value there as well. So this champion brings a lot of value. I also want to point out he is amazing in faction wars, and he is also amazing in clan boss. So he can generally work quite well. You do need to take some different masteries and a different slightly build from that, which wouldn't work that well in P vs E soloing, but it will still work quite well in P vs E in the right team. So just bear that in mind when you're building your Venomage. I think he's definitely a champion that low spend, or someone who is free to play, pull him on early enough in the game. I think he would be a huge carry. He's definitely a solid champion overall, and I think he's one of the best P vs E epics in the game. So that's my personal opinion. Anyway guys, I'm going to leave you to it. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe to the video. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.